Hey there, what's going on? Welcome back to Birds of Play. Today we're going to be talking about all of the news with Red Dead Redemption 2, the crazy installation, the gameplay trailer, then we're going to transition to the downfall of one of my favorite studios, Telltale, and all the things that happened there. And then two big games came out today, Assassin's Creed Odyssey and the new Super Mario Party. And we're going to talk about all about that in Birds of Play.
Hey!
What's going on, everybody?
This is Birds of Play. We talk about those things that we just talked about.
Welcome back to the show. We're a little short-handed today.
Yeah.
Just the two of us.
We'll get it done, though.
Just the two of us. Hey. So we want to start talking about Red Dead Redemption 2.
I'm Ryan, by the way.
I'm Nathan.
So yeah, Red Dead 2 had its new trailer that came out a couple days ago, and I think the game looks amazing. The first one was a great game, and this looks like it's the same thing, just tenfold. Obviously, the game's coming out October 26th, and I mean, just the things we saw in that and the previous trailers. I mean, we're gonna have a first-person mode. They had a cinematic camera, which is kind of like GTA, where you can click a button and it shows you the different angles in which you can view it. Awesome stuff, fun stuff. Very nice for the photogenic people out there in the world. Weapon degradation, which is a fun word to say. Yeah, or go to school, kids. So your weapons can now degrade. You can have your weapon. It's like Fallout. Your weapons can break.
Yep.
Watch out. Be careful. You can gain and lose weight probably quicker than me in that game. And then you can be clean boy. You can be a dirty boy. I think it's only boys. I'm not sure if you can play as a female. I don't think so. But clean boy, dirty boy. And I'm just running down a list. The biggest news of them all. We'll go back to those things, but let's start with this number one. The game's going to be 105 gigabytes to download from the start. Nathan,
That's a lot.
I have the space, but that's a long download. And what are we going to do?
Well, this is going to be a big topic for until the game releases, and it's gonna show a lot of people that the route they're going in games like this with open world. There's so much. You just read off everything that is going to be and how detailed this is going to be. So the last Red Dead hasn't come out since 2011. So for them to take 7 years for the sequel to come out, they spent a lot of time with every little detail for this game. So I'm super excited about it. But the fact that it's 105 gig, which I want to say Grand Theft Auto was in between 50 and 60 for the original one. So to see it be so much higher, I think this is going to start the conversation of, okay, other games are going to look at it like we talked about Cyberpunk. How much is that going to take to install? Because if games constantly rise this much, you're not going to see consoles with 500 gigabytes to be the standard version, because people are going to get upset that because we're going to get to the point where you can only download games rather than discs.
Yes.
So to be 105 gig, a lot of people, including myself, are going to have to decide, what am I going to delete off my library on my PlayStation?
Or do I have to buy more external hard drive
Exactly.
space?
So,
little anecdote, my aunt and uncle back in the day, they bought a computer, and it had 1 gigabyte on this computer. This was back, early days of computing. My uncle said to my aunt that day, this is all we're going to need. We have 1 gigabyte. What else do we need? So now we're at the point that I have a 4 terabyte external hard drive, which I got a good deal for on Amazon. Thank you. But that might not be cutting it come the next 5 to 10 years. So we're gonna have to worry about that.
I remember when we would talk about a terabyte being a lot, and when I had a terabyte from my Xbox,
I got teraflops.
Yeah, when the Xbox One came out and I had a terabyte, I'm like, I don't need anything else. But technology is constantly improving, and Red Dead Redemption 2 is taking a huge leap into this industry of taking 105 gig for the install. But I'm really excited about this game, other than the topic of the memory. Yeah. I'm really excited about this game in general, just because I was a huge fan of the original one. I personally do like Red Dead Redemption better than Grand Theft Auto, because just being able to see all the mountains and ride around on horses with your friends was a lot of fun. And I'm excited to see with even more detail how they do with this game.
And I think going off of that, you have to look at, it's 105 gigs, but that means that there's so much to this game that the map is just going to be giant. There's going to be so much detail. So I think it's going to be a positive thing. I'm really excited for the game. And it's going to be...
And you're going to have a month to play the single player. Red Dead Online is not coming out until later. So
it's going to be interesting. So Speaking about, Rockstar's killing it right now. Rockstar's been killing it for a long time. Let's move on to a company that hasn't been killing it recently, and that's the rise and fall of one Telltale Games. As of September 1st, they laid off 90% of their staff, and I believe the last another 25 have just been laid off that were told they weren't going to be laid off. I'm not a big Telltale game guy. You are. I mean, what are your thoughts on this fall?
It's an extremely disappointing story that Telltale, out of nowhere, releases all of this information about how much they've been struggling over the past year or two. And I knew the games were it started to feel like games were being forced because there were game series that sounded interesting, but I'm like, wait a minute, they would just release a series previously. So I felt like we talked about it before, that they were constantly trying to get the rights to use certain franchises in their games. But I felt like they were focusing way too much on that rather than the content and how well one of their games played. So me personally, Walking Dead kind of died off a little bit, but then the newest season, when it came out, all the reviews were fantastic. So I took the risk, I paid for the whole season, and then over 2 weeks after that, they're like, hey, we're gonna start firing people and close the company down, and I can't get my refund with Steam. So I'm hoping that they somehow finish this series because I do want to play it. And the biggest disappointment for me is Wolf Among Us. I was a huge fan of that, and I don't want to spoil anything, but what happens at the end of Wolf Among Us Season 1 was such a huge cliffhanger, and for it to just never be finished it's a sad moment. So it's the hard part of the industry, but I wish this would have been announced sooner so people can try to help it before they got in a situation now.
Yeah. I really feel like Telltale was just asking for it. I mean, they, from what I've read and heard, they've had been a cycle of this business where they've keep bringing on people. They do a project and then they fire them. They don't get all this. You don't get the severance or all these other types of benefits you would get if they kept you on as a person. So having that lack of trust within your company is going to lead to something like this happening. And I think it was building up to this moment.
And wasn't it didn't Walking Dead win Game of the Year? Like the original first season? Yeah. I know they won a big award. If it wasn't Game of the Year, they won something at the Video Game Awards. And that's when I first heard about Telltale. And my friends back in the day when that came out were telling me what the series was about and how it played. And I tried it. I was a huge fan of it. And to just think about how successful they were in the beginning and to see them fall so hard in the middle of a season that was supposed to be the final season. So I guess they don't have the funds to finish the last season, but it's a devastating story, and there's not really much you can say or do about it at this point.
It's sorry, Telltale. We'll always remember you.
But what you can enjoy, and it's a company that's not going away. Ubisoft's not going away. Nintendo's not going away.
Are you sure?
Oh,
What's Reggie telling you to do?
What's Reggie telling you to say?
Well, Nintendo has decided we're going to come out with a new Super Mario Party, and it comes out the day of this shoot. And Ubisoft's like, you know what? The best Assassin's Creed game in the series is going to come out the same day. Watch out. So, luckily for us two, Ryan is going to be completely invested in Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
I'll be playing that all day after we're done here.
And he's going to be playing a lot of that. And I'm going to be playing a lot of the new Super Mario Party.
Yep.
So, Ryan, tell me, what do you see in this Assassin's Creed? We talked about how Assassin's Creed games were coming out every single year, and it felt like it was rushed. Felt like the story wasn't fully invested and worked with their full potential. Assassin's Creed Unity was one of those games where I started giving up on the series. So to see them kind of come back with this game and to see things online about maybe it's Game of the Year, arguably the best Assassin's Creed game of the entire series, what are your expectations going into this?
So, I've always loved Assassin's Creed.
Same.
I played all of them except for I haven't played like the side games, the main games. I've played all of them, but like Syndicate, I just never got in. I don't really care for that time period.
And that was a good one.
No offense to
it was a good one.
No offense to industrial age England. If you're still alive, I didn't care about your time.
It's a good game.
I played Unity. I went through it. But I was very excited. I loved Assassin's Creed Origins. I think it was. It wasn't. You can't say a return to form because it's very different. It's not as assassin oriented. There's not as much, sneaking or doing these old, jumps on people. It's a lot more combat, which I think they've made that change. I think a lot of people want that now. So you see a lot more of that in Odyssey, and I guess it's paying off because, IGN has a 9.2 out of 10 right now. Metacritic, which I think just aggregates all the different reviews, it's an 84%. So it's getting great reviews. I was kind of nervous because I'm like, it looks like the same thing as Origins, just a new map, new characters. But I'm glad that people are saying that it's a very detailed game. It's very long, and it's actually a really good story. So I'm excited. I really hope it lives up, and I can't wait to play it today.
I did not play. I still have it downloaded, but I just never fully invested time to play Assassin's Creed Origins. And I've heard nothing but great things, but for some reason I just haven't gone to play that one. But hearing a lot of people say that this game is arguably the best one in the series.
Yeah.
You're talking it's better than Assassin's Creed 2 and Brotherhood.
Watch out, Ed.
And I know a lot of people like Black Flag. I wasn't a huge fan of that one. Unpopular opinion. Because I personally loved Assassin's Creed 3, and I know a lot of people didn't like that one.
It was okay. I liked it. I liked the time period.
Because I'm just a huge fan of the Revolutionary War. So when they took that take on it, I liked that one a lot. Wasn't into Black Flag as much as I wanted to be, but I know people love that one. So the series has been very successful, and there's arguments of which one is the best one. So to hear this one be compared to those, I definitely need to check it out. My wallet's struggling to breathe.
We'll see.
But I am fully invested in the new Super Mario Party because I've always been a huge fan of that one.
Those are long games. You play with friends. Oh my!
They just never get. To me, they just never get old.
It's like Monopoly, but for Nintendo.
So I'm super excited about the new Mario Party. There isn't really much to say about it. I've looked at the reviews. A lot of them are like pretty much average because they're just saying, hey, it's Mario Party on the Switch. It's exactly what you would think.
It's what you want.
But yeah, it's just one of those games that I've always thought about going back to my childhood.
Right.
That when I would have friends over and we would just sit around the console and play it because, to this day, it's a game that doesn't get old, just like board games, but with Mario. So
and friendships.
Mario Party is one of those classic games that I'm glad that they're bringing to the Switch. A lot of games are bringing the Switch with classic. We've talked about with Luigi's Mansion, Animal Crossing. So for them to finally start bringing, I was worried when I first got the Switch, and for them to finally start saying, okay, we're bringing Smash, we're bringing new Super Mario Party. They've had some great plans for the future of the Switch, and I believe they announced a new Switch that's going to be coming out in 2019.
At some point, maybe I'll pick it up.
When are you going to be interested in purchasing Mario Party? Because I know you're fully invested in Odyssey, Assassin's Creed Odyssey. But do you think Mario Party has done enough to sell to you?
Me personally, no, only because I've never been the biggest Nintendo fan. I like Nintendo games, don't get me wrong, please. But but they never are like my go-to option. The thing that might sell me on a Switch is Smash, because I know everyone's going to be playing that and I want to get in on that. But if I end up doing that, then I feel like I would get more of these, Breath of the Wilds, Mario Party, because more people are going to have it. We can have a nice group. Mario Kart. So yeah, I think with another game, it will lead me to want to get it, if that makes sense.
Nintendo's probably the only company right now that I feel like they could just make the same game over and over.
Hey, Madden does it all the time.
But it doesn't get old. I feel like when being a huge Madden fan, I get really frustrated with Madden because it's the same thing. But when the new Mario Kart comes out, when the new Mario Party comes out, those games I'm never really upset they're the same because I still enjoy them. So I don't know how Nintendo does it. I don't know if it's the respect of the characters in the game, but I'm super excited for Mario Party. So hopefully this one is just as good. I'll be playing it later today. So
awesome. Well, thank you, Reggie. Thank you, Nintendo. Thank you, Ubisoft. Sorry, Telltale. And thank you, Rockstar, for maybe making what some people might be considering the best game ever.
A lot of great games this year. A lot of people saying games of the year just being spread around.
It's going to be a good gaming season coming up soon. And that's it for us today. I'm Ryan Terrones.
I'm Nathan Dean.
And thank you for watching another awesome episode. And
thank you so much,
have
guys.
fun. Play games.
Bye.
Bye.